Revenge films.
My family had always lived in a wooden house inherited from my grandmother. So when I grew older, I always had the dream of building my own house and living in it with my family. Just as I vowed right after I graduated from college, I went to nursing school, and once I graduated from there, I became a nurse. My husband was coming there for rehabilitation. After I was placed in charge of his rehabilitation, even after he was fully healed, we began meeting outside of the hospital, and then we started dating. At that time, my husband was very kind, and while I was working as a nurse, the time I got to spend with him was very healing to me. Because I always had the dream of owning my own house ever since I became a nurse, I had been saving up a little by little. When it was decided that I would be marrying my husband, we decided to keep our wedding to the bare minimum. Then we used all the money that I had been saving up when I was single as a down payment, and I was finally able to make my dream come true of building my own house. Because it was my dream for a long time, I put all my wishes and ideas into reality with this brand new house. Luckily, my husband didn't have many requests with the house, so I didn't get into many arguments with my husband about the design of the house, and it all went smoothly. And so, the most wonderful 2-floor house was completed. I'm so happy! It was always my dream ever since I was a little girl to build my own house and live in it. It finally came true! Now that the house was built, my husband and I went together to go buy the furniture, curtains, bed sets, rugs, and other various necessities for the house. Look at this! Isn't this color beautiful?
Yeah, I think that's great!
Which sofa do you think is better? The one on the right or the left?
I like the one on the left, but what do you think?
I also think the one on the left. Just like that, the two of us would go shopping, and little by little, we gathered the furniture to our new house. And finally, the day we could move in was announced. That day, as a celebration, my husband and I went to a slightly expensive Italian restaurant to have dinner. I'm truly so happy.
Me too.
And so we had a toast to ourselves. And then our life in our new home began. Our new house was fancy and cute, and because it had all of my ideas and wishes in it, being in that house really felt like a dream. However, that didn't last very long. One day, the doorbell rang, and I answered the door. My sister-in-law came storming into our house.
I'm here! Wow, this is a pretty good house, isn't it?
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just heard that you guys built a house, so I came here to check it out for you.
Saying that, my sister-in-law laid down across the ride sofa.
Jessica, can you bring me some tea?
Sure, I'll go get that. I was taken aback by her sudden appearance, but then after this day, my sister-in-law started coming over to our house almost every day. And then she started staying for dinner before leaving, and more, she started staying over. Karen, don't you need to go back to your home?
What? Are you telling me I can't stay here?
That's not what I'm saying, but because she was my sister-in-law, I couldn't say much back. But my sister-in-law is so lazy and messy. She would treat it as it was her own home and leave a mess without taking any trash out or whatsoever. Not only that, but she would eat anything that we had around the house. I really liked red wine, but she would open the wine that I had been aging, and even special bottles without my permission, and drink it. On top of that, if she found any high-quality meat or food supplies in our fridge,
thanks, I'm gonna take this with me.
She would take it home without permission and leave with it. The cherry on top was that she would bring her laundry from her own house, and
if you don't mind, can you throw this in the laundry with yours? I live alone, and 2 or 3 people doesn't make any difference anyways, does it?
And she would even dump her laundry on me. I was finally living in the house of my dreams, but my sister-in-law was doing as she pleases around it, and I was no longer able to tolerate it. So I said something to my husband. Can you do something about your sister? However, it didn't seem to bother my husband much at all.
Why not? She is our family after all anyway. You could be a little bit more forgiving.
But she lives in her own place nearby, and recently she stays over all the time too. And now she's been dumping her laundry on me, and you know that I'm not a maid? I am working full-time just like her.
Come on, don't be like that.
No matter what his sister did around the house, my husband wouldn't say anything. I always thought he was a kind person, but then I realized that he was just an indecisive pushover and an unreliable husband. As a result, my sister-in-law's rampage was only getting worse by the day.
You should put this over here. Also, I don't really like this one, so we don't need this.
and she began changing the interior of the house based on her own taste. I'm sorry, but this isn't your house, so can you please stop doing that?
Excuse me, what are you saying? Who do you think allows you to live in this house?
What's that supposed to mean?
If it weren't for my little brother, you know you wouldn't even be able to have a house like this. As his older sister, what's wrong with me doing as I please with the house? Isn't that right, John?
Huh? Sure. Yeah.
At those words, as well as my husband's words, I had reached the limit of my tolerance. A few days later, I had something I had been preparing in my hands. I expected my sister-in-law to arrive, but that day she came with an unbelievable amount of luggage. What is with all this stuff?
What do you mean? This is my stuff. It's a pain to go back to my place every time, so I brought it with me here.
But I hadn't given you permission to do this.
Excuse me? Who said I needed any permission from you? This is my little brother's house. You're pretty much just a freeloader, and just because you're his wife, you get to live here out of pity. Now hurry up and open a room for me.
What are you even talking about?
Do you still not understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that I am going to live here. Right. Isn't that fine, John?
Yeah, why not? I'm sure we can figure out a room somewhere.
Yay! This is why you're the best little brother.
Sure, it would be fine if you could live here. But I'm getting a divorce, so...
Huh?
What are you saying? Who's getting a divorce?
What do you mean, who? You and I are getting a divorce.
But why would we?
Because I don't need a house like this. I built this house for the two of us. I didn't build it so that your sister could do as she pleased with it, or let her live here without my permission. That's why I'm planning on getting a divorce and selling this house.
What do you mean you're going to sell this house? Like you could. This house belongs to my little brother.
No, it doesn't. This house is built and registered under my name. I also prepared the entire down payment for it.
What?
You're joking about the divorce, right?
I'm not joking. I've had enough and I don't have any love for you anymore. This was supposed to be our house as a married couple, but you let your sister do whatever she wanted around it. And not only that, but you decided that she could live here without discussing it with me. I don't need a pathetic husband like that. I've already signed the divorce papers, so it's your turn.
Wait a minute. Come on. A divorce over something so small?
This is enough of a reason, isn't it? If your sister were to live here like this, I'm sure this house would be destroyed in no time. Without putting a single penny of her own money, she leaves the air conditioner on full blast. She eats all the food without leaving anything. And do you think I want to live with somebody like that?
I'll also tell her not to do those things, so please, don't say a divorce!
After I asked you so many times, and yet you didn't do anything, when would you tell her? There's no way I could believe that. Anyway, get out within 1 week. For the rest, I'm going to get a lawyer involved and move forward with the divorce.
Wait a minute. What's going to happen to me?
Who knows? That's none of my business. You could do whatever you pleased, right? So why don't you go think for yourself on your way out? After 1 week, I'm going to get rid of all of this in here.
Excuse me, are you kidding me? You got married, so what's yours is also your husband's. It's all the same. You need to do something about this.
I later found out that my sister-in-law had already terminated her contract at her apartment, and she was planning on moving into our house no matter what it took. However, the house was under my name, so just as I said, after 1 week, I really put the house up for sale. Because it was still brand new, it was built for a family. I was able to put a good price on it, and it was quickly bought. I got multiple messages from my husband asking to start over, but I have no intentions of that whatsoever. So I had a lawyer handle the rest, and I was able to successfully get a divorce. After that, my ex-sister-in-law and ex-husband had no place to live, and I heard the two of them moved into a run-down apartment together. On top of that, apparently she had to also quit her job because she was just going to latch onto our house like a parasite, so their living situation was devastating. But then my ex-husband must have finally realized that he lost his house and his wife because of his own sister, and I heard that he cut off all ties with her. But that was none of my business anymore. For the record, 3 years later, my love for houses led the way again, and I met a wonderful architect and got married. Soon after getting married, I was also blessed with a baby, and this time, I am living in a dreamy house built by my architect husband's interior taste, full of my wishes and ideals.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.